The New York Jets need tight end help. So if they pass on Warren at 7, where do they turn to? Let's evaluate the best day 2 tight ends. Let's go. What is going on, everybody? It's Luke here from Play Like a Jet, and we're back in the film room with another All-22 breakdown. And today we're going to evaluate 3 tight ends that the Jets could select with the 73rd overall pick. Now, all of these dudes are ranked between 60 and 80 on the consensus big board, so they are realistic targets in the 3rd round. There's a good chance they're there at that pick. Now, we're going to go from least favorite to my favorite at the position because they progressively show more traits. As you can see, unfortunately for him, we're starting with Terrence Ferguson. He is the tight end out of Oregon. He wears number 3, and his game is predicated around speed. He was the fastest tight end at the combine. You can see why. He's the number 3 receiver here for Oregon. Look how from the slot, he just re-accelerates, blows straight by the second level defender, and that is some serious separation. Now, unfortunately, we get a poor throw. It's an incompletion instead of a touchdown. It's too far outside, but I like the way he slow plays this route like it's going to be some kind of quick in-breaker and then just explodes, accelerates, and he's gone. This is the foundation of his game. It's predicated around speed, as I mentioned. This is who Ferguson is as a player. Now, he can also do things after the catch. You can throw him a little screen or a swing pass, as you're going to see on this occasion, and he can go and make things happen. He gets the ball after sift motion, and look at the speed. Again, down the sideline, he is tearing away. Like, he has genuine pace, and when he gets the ball in his hands, he can be gone in a flash. But this is where the negatives start to come in, and it's hard to show you what someone doesn't do on film, particularly a pass catcher. He has almost no change of direction skills. Now, I'm not picking on this clip. There's no need for it on this occasion, but he doesn't have the ability to get in and out of breaks. He really struggles to change direction after the catch and make people miss with wiggle. He is a straight line flyer, as you see here. Get the ball, curve it upfield, and just head straight down the sideline. That's who Terrence Ferguson is. I went back and looked at the combine. What were his agility numbers? Am I just making things up? He didn't test. He did everything except agility. That's going to be an issue for him. But I also didn't like Terrence Ferguson as an inline blocker, and that's why I'm not interested in him at 73. Great example against OSU. He comes from sift motion here from left to right. Look how he completely just whiffs on this block, and his direct opponent is the one who makes the tackle on the running back. You got to slow down your feet. You need to hit your target. He does neither of those things on this occasion, and it's just not good enough. These kind of reps are going to lead to him not being on the field on 1st and 2nd down in the NFL, and that's going to be a problem for usage. I'm not interested in a tight end that cannot block at all. And it was a theme in this game, coming from the left-hand side out of screen. You're going to see him knifing across the formation. Again, completely whiffs, side-on, sliding door contact. I understand it's a big ask, blocking a defensive end one-on-one, never mind a really good one. But again, his guy makes the tackle, and that's something that happened far too often. And then just a final, ram home the point. On the front side on this occasion, left-hand side of your screen, look how Ferguson does an okay job on this combo, but he's so far out in front, his feet can't keep up, he's slouched, he's got no power, and his man is able to shed the block and get to the outside and limit the gain for Oregon. Again, not a terrible play, but I was just really underwhelmed with what Ferguson could do as a blocker. But I mentioned it, in space, there are some redeeming qualities. He does a really nice job out in front. Here it leads to a touchdown. Look, I don't think this is super play, but he's competitive enough. He drives his man downfield. Some nice ability to get some north-south movement. Ducks inside the block. Doesn't allow a flag. It's good enough. He can do this stuff. He can be a screen blocker or on the front of swing passes. I just wouldn't ask him to do too much else. So that's Terrence Ferguson. As you can tell, not my favorite guy. Let's transition now to Fannin Jr. because he's a name that every single Jets fan has talked about through this process. We need tight end help, and he had so much production, but at a very small school in Bowling Green. Well, what he does really well, similar to what we just discussed with Ferguson, is stretch the field down the seam. He had so many yards on these kind of routes. Left-hand side of the formation, look how he moves vertically down the field, but what I love is the late hands. Avoid avoid this pass being broken up because Fannin does an expert job of not reaching out and trying to snatch this and giving the DB a target to swipe the football away. He is late with his hands, he is soft down the seam and does a great job corralling that football. He's a very intelligent guy and he has some nuance to his game, and you need to when you're not the best athlete, but I saw a ton of these type of clips. That's a really good example of how to stretch the field, how to be disciplined with your hands at the catch point against really good competition. And another one, this time catching it above his head outside his frame, you're going to see him from the attached inline tight end position. Doesn't overwhelm with speed, but really nice job at the catch point. You want to talk about plucking this football away from your body. Again, nice late hands. He doesn't go up, extend early, give the DB an idea of when that football is coming to time their jump. He is a master at doing this kind of stuff. The offense really flowed through him, so Fannin got a ton of targets. Now the negative is, he's just not very fast. He kind of looks like he's running in hummus. That's the best way I can say it. He looks sticky with every movement. You can see here, he just kind of trudges down the field. I get uncomfortable not knowing if this is going to translate that well in the NFL, and that gives me a little bit of pause for cause, especially at 73. And my concerns continued when I looked at how Fannin got in and out of his breaks because he was a very stiff, linear athlete in my opinion. He's going to run a whip route here, and I want you to remember it because our next guy is Elijah Arroyo, and he runs the same route with so much more fluidity. Okay, so Fannin Jr., left-hand side, look how he just gets kind of stuck in this whip route. These are little details, guys. He's very upright. He doesn't have a lot of sink. Look how he struggles to drop his hips. He kind of has to turn his way out of it. Kind of turns like a car. It feels very mechanical when you watch him, and that's why the DB can close and cause the PBU. I'd love to see him have a little more fluidity to be able to just explode out of that break. I just didn't really see it from him. Now, here's an example, though, where he scores a touchdown against Penn State from the slot, does a nice job getting that separation and turning the corner. But again, and look, this may make me seem like a hater, it looks like he's moving in slow motion. The DB does a terrible job feeling this pick or rub coming from the outside, and that's why it eventuates in 6 points for Bowling Green. But it just feels like very slow movement. This is not a quick, explosive change of direction. It is lumbering, and I know the result is good, but evaluate the movement skills, and I think they're really, really lacking for Fannin Jr. I want more out of a third-round pick. But there are some occasions where you look at him and his ability to move, and you think, okay, it's functional for the NFL. Really nice example of what they call a stick nod. So he's going to pretend he's going to sit down here in zone coverage. He nods his head back to the quarterback and then goes straight back down the field, ends up in a touchdown. This is really nice. Again, this is where he's going to live. It is down the seam. It's not the best route I've ever seen, but it's good enough. If he can block a little bit more, I think this is going to be effective. Last thing I'll say, I just would like to see him break a few more tackles. You see the limited movement skills right here. So he's got 7-8 yards between himself and the free safety. This is a ton of room for a good NFL athlete to make him miss and score a touchdown. He just kind of breaks it down. He wobbles. The wheels kind of fall off. He is not a fluid mover. The change of direction skills are not very good. And for me, that's going to limit where I could take him. Look, I'm okay if the Jets draft him at 73. He wouldn't be a guy I'm banging the table for, though. But now let's move on to the last player in today's review, and by far my favorite tight end at pick number 73, and that's Elijah Arroyo. Now let's be fair, there's a chance he's not there. He's projected to go between 60 and 70 just before the Jets pick at 73, but he didn't have a ton of production at Miami, he had some injuries, and he could slide. But the underlying film was really impressive to me. I loved it. I saw a genuine NFL tight end. Great example of him stretching the seam like the other two can do. Arroyo bouncing down here, number 2 receiver. Look at the nuance at the stem, how he blows by the safety, and it's a very easy touchdown for Miami. I just like the little extended step off the left leg. We're going to find space, go straight past the hands. You can't keep up with this guy. He is too fast. Now, another great example, they didn't scheme up many plays for him, but on this occasion they do. Again, he's the number 2 receiver. That means second from the boundary. Look how he slow plays this, gets the football in this design touch and just explodes. He has that acceleration that Ferguson does. I just like so much more of his game to go with it as well. He can make a house call running down the seam vertically. I have absolutely no doubt, and that's a great example of this. I also thought this was a really cool play design from the Hurricanes, but Arroyo, he can be that home run threat running down the middle for your offense. But he also has nuance that goes far beyond his experience and 75 targets as a college tight end. On this occasion, he's flexed left-hand side of the formation. Look how he threatens the DB to the outside, crosses his face, but frees it right here. Ward's had to step up in the pocket. Now we have to react and adjust. What does Arroyo do? He snaps this route off vertically, puts more strain and stress on the DB, and then flashes late hands and brings in the over-the-shoulder catch. This is really nice attention to detail, chemistry with his quarterback. You don't expect this from a guy that has limited experience. This is where I get excited though. Let's circle back to the whip route. We talked about it with Fannin Jr. This is fluidity at the position. Left-hand side, have a look how he sinks, gets out of this break, and then brings in a really tough catch. Breaking it down a little more, this is what I'm talking about. The ability to sink your hips, get low to the ground, extend that right leg, propel off it, and create separation. Those athletes do not move in the same way. I just thought Arroyo had a special, extra level of athleticism, and that's why I liked him significantly more than Fannin Jr. And then there's the inline blocking. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I thought this guy was low-key a dog. He was not afraid to mix it up with defensive ends and put his body on the line. Number 8, right-hand side. Look how he comes across in sift motion, finds the defensive end, and he levels him. Like, this was not a one-off. He got his hands dirty consistently. Nice pad level, nice movement, stands up the end, opens up the lane for his running back. Beautiful work. I saw 10 to 12 clips that made me say, yeah, this kid can do it. He is not afraid to roll up his sleeves and be a run blocker, and he's going to be able to see the field earlier than almost every other tight end in this class, and I didn't really expect it when I turned on the Arroyo film. One example to finish. Again, very similar thing. You're going to see him just come across the formation, knifing, find his man, stand him up, get some movement, and it's a big gain for Miami. He did it consistently. I like the pad level, how he always hit his target, but he was just willing, and that's the biggest thing for a blocking tight end. So there's a little mini breakdown on Terrence Ferguson, Harold Fannin Jr., and Elijah Arroyo. You can see there's a pretty clear pecking order for me. I thought that Arroyo was clearly the best. He has the most well-rounded skill set. The other two are more seam stretchers. I thought Ferguson lacked some agility, and I thought Fannin was a bit of a tight athlete.